Garrett Soldati. So I was born in 1981. I was born in Freehold, New Jersey. So I kind of I'm a thrill seeker for the most part. I kind of grew up bouncing around. I was raised by a single mother. I have a sister with Down syndrome, an older sister with Downs, and I lost my stepfather when I was pretty young. Seeking a career in the fire service kind of culminated from a series of life events in regards to that childhood, that earlier childhood, but also from my experiences, I witnessed 9/11 firsthand. I was down in Ground Zero during that incident, and when I got back to Colorado after that, I decided that there was a reason why I was down there. 2019, I had just completed the Colorado Trail Race. I had camped at this glacial lake at like 11,000, just under maybe 11 to 12,000 feet. And I remember coming across this meadow as I was pushing my bike in the pitch black with a headlamp, and super cold. And I looked up, and sure as there was this gorgeous moose eating. And then you look over, and there was actually a cow, female, that was just over there. And so it was just really cool and serene to see these two just gigantic beasts, in their habitat. And here I am kind of, able to experience that, in a kind of incognito way, in an area that's not my natural habitat, but it's theirs. So we were lucky with COVID that we kind of invested quite a bit with the Ebola outbreak, and we now call that our infectious disease protocol. We had used an isolation ambulance. So we had taken an ambulance in our fleet, and we had basically adapted it to COVID-specific incidents. And then obviously we're rationing personal protective equipment because it was so hard to get, and things like that. And then our dispatchers are wonderful people, but they would do a screening. And so they would ask, so you had an idea going into it, whether or not it was a positive screen, might have even been the first or second case for the department. We had our isolation ambulance, and we responded with that along with us because it was a positive screen. It was a trouble breathing. Me as an officer, I decided that I would be the one that would be that initial responder in. And so of course you're communicating, my crew is communicating with social distance to an individual who wasn't the patient, but an individual at the door, and saying, okay, sit tight. Are they able to ambulate? Can they come to the door? It was actually a wheelchair-bound patient. But I'm back by the car because we had a whole COVID bag that had all our PPE in it. So it had a gown, basically Tyvek suit that I put on, and put booties on, and make sure my mask is on, my N95. At that time we had our paperwork was within plastic bag because how do you decontaminate paper, right? I mean, that was we got them to the ambulance, to the cot. I went in the back of the patient compartment with them and continued my assessments and, do the normal vitals. And it was pretty basic at that point. If there was a silver lining in some of that, it was the family time that we got back. My children are very active in club soccer and school activities and you name it. And it really gave us the time to really have family time and family dinners again, and not be running around, the wife going to one part of the state and me going to another, or staying home to watch the other two while one's busy with their events. So I truly enjoyed and loved that aspect of it. In fact, it was when it all came back to kind of the rat race of life as it were, then it's one of those things that I look back and I'm like, man, that was really kind of a great time.
Support for Facing a Changed World, an oral history of the COVID-19 pandemic, comes from the Margaret Ann Martin Everest Foundation, the Kind World Foundation, Humanities Iowa, the friends of Siouxland Public Media, and listeners like you.